Sometimes you only get one chance, just one chance. And sometimes it's years and lifetimes of efforts to get this one favor. If such a situation appears in our lives, what should we ask for? One of our teachers was meditating in the dark, in total darkness, for 49 days. This method is called Kayakalpa. Somebody was bringing him food, and he was meditating 49 days with one of the mantras, which is called the Parabija, or the highest mantra, focusing here, 49 days, day in, day out, all his waking hours, one mantra in total darkness. I've done myself not that long, but it's very, very intense. I've done several days. It's very, very intense. And at one point, in these 49 days, a deity appeared to him. And he said he could see it with lights, with eyes open, even it was dark, and with eyes closed. It was a total vision and apparition, the first he ever had in his life, or at least that's from the story he said. That's the feeling that I get. And the deity asked, make a wish. And he was in a very, very high spiritual state, and he asked for something. He never told us what he asked for. Later, when he returned to his ordinary state of consciousness, he was like, whoa, this is what I asked for? Could have asked for something else. If such a situation appears in our lives, what should we ask for? Sometimes you only get one chance, just one chance. And sometimes it's years and lifetimes of efforts to get this one favor. In the devotional texts, in the Bhagavata, and in the Puranas, in India, such situations repeat very often. One of them, from one of the first cantos in the Bhagavatam, speaks of Dhruv, who will later become the Northern Star. Dhruv was a boy, a prince. His father, the king, had two wives, one very beautiful and one more plain. And each wife had a child. And the child of the beautiful wife was climbing on the dad, and the dad was embracing him. And Dhruv also wanted his father's affection. But the beautiful mother, who was not his mother, pushed him away and said, no, you will not receive your father's love. The only way you can receive his love is if you die and you are born from me, because my son will be the future king and not you. Now the father, the king, loved the beautiful wife more than the wife who was not so beautiful. The boy ran to his mother and cried. And the mother said, I'm sorry, when it comes to that wife, there's nothing I can do. And he says, but I want to be loved by my father. And he felt very sad. And he said, okay, if you can't help me, who can help? And she says, well, you can pray. So the 4-year-old boy says, okay, then I will go to the forest and I will pray and meditate until I meet God. And he had such devotion and determination. At the age of 4, she said, okay, you have my blessing. He leaves the palace and he goes and meditates by the river. He meets the great Guru, Narada, the author of the Bhakti Sutras, and he receives initiation from him, and he meditates by the river, and he's repeating his mantra, and he's becoming one with the universe, and his breath slows down, and then the breath of the whole universe is slowing down. Everything is slowing down because he's one with everything, and he's breathing ever so slowly. And all the gods come to Vishnu and they say, what's happening? This boy, he's destroying the universe. And Vishnu says, no, don't worry. Soon, I will appear to him. I will give him darshan. And everything will be set straight. But he needs a little bit more to rise spiritually. So he meditates a bit more. And then his spiritual energy becomes so great. First he's only eating leaves. And then he's only eating the leaves that fall. And then he's just nourishing from air. He's absorbed day and night in meditation. And then when all his energy has reached its fruition, then Vishnu appears. And he sees Vishnu. Now he's a boy, he doesn't know the scriptures, he doesn't know songs of praise. Normally you would say something, Om Vishnu Namaha, something, you would read some verse, you would bow down, but he's a boy, he doesn't know anything. So Vishnu appears and he looks at him with the simplicity of a child, and Vishnu looks at him with the compassion of God. And not a word is said. And then half an hour passes. And Vishnu is waiting for him to say something. And the boy doesn't say anything because he's just a child. And then Vishnu starts laughing. And Lakshmi, the wife of Vishnu, starts laughing and the whole universe laughs. And Vishnu says, my child, make a wish. And the child said, well, I started my practices because I wanted the love of my father and I also wanted to be king. But now that I see you, I don't care at all about any of that. All I want is to be close to you. All I want is to love you. And Vishnu said, okay, I will grant you that. But since you started your practice with a wish to be a king, it already happened. I am the Kalpataru tree. I am the wish-fulfilling tree. You will need also to be king. So, with Vishnu's grace, he became king. But then in the end of his life, Vishnu came to pick him up in a kind of spaceship. They have all these spaceships in the Bhagavatam, and took him to the North Star, which is still called Dhruv until today, named after the sweet boy who became a king and then a renunciant and then a heavenly force next to Vishnu. Now this repeats so many times in the Bhagavatam, and it repeats later in the life of Vivekananda when he has a vision of Kali and he wants to ask for food for his family. His family is starving. He prays to Kali so that the family can have food. But when he sees her, all he can ask for is bhakti and jnana, vairagya, devotion, knowledge of God, and detachment. And in all these stories, the essential thing to ask for, if such a deity appears, is love for God. If love for God is attained, all is attained. All is attained. When a heart is pure with love for the Absolute, all is attained, all the burden of life is gone. There is one wish to ask for that will grant everything, that will grant a magical state of desireless, fearless, enlightened consciousness, always united with the Absolute. By having this access, by having this lock of love that would lock the heart of the individual or Anu with the heart of the Absolute. So if you're ever in that situation, this would be the finest and most elevated and most perfect of all requests. If you like this video and want to learn more about Tantra, about yoga, about psychology, emotional healing, lives of saints and the scriptures,
then hit the bell, like, subscribe, and you'll never miss an upload. Thank you so much.